Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Okay, that was a weird intro, but anyway, let's get right into the proper intro now. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to our cozy little corner of the internet. I'm Pen and today I'll be reading The Ring Reminds Me of You by Wow, okay, I've had to do this so many times because I can't pronounce this right. MikayuuMouse. I'm so sorry if that's not how you say it. I'm not good at English, but this looks Japanese, so Japanese and English letters, you know what, let's just ignore that for now. This is a really fluffy Christmas one-shot fic, and I know it's nowhere near Christmas, but oh my gosh, this one-shot is amazing. It's a little under 3,400 words, and it's just so fluffy. This is Shin Soukoku, and I really hope you enjoy it. Here is the summary. Akutagawa finds Atsushi sitting near a river, looking troubled. The mafioso sighs and decides to see what is wrong. Deep down, he greatly cares for the were-tiger. I hope you guys enjoy this, and let's get right into the fic. Make sure to leave kudos and love on the fic if you go to check it out, and I'll see you guys right in there. Bye! Christmas time was a beautiful stretch of days, decorated with candy canes and ornaments and grass and garlands. In Yokohama, there was no shortage of Christmas trees and gifts being brought for loved ones, all underneath a blanket of snow. Today was December 25th, the birth of Jesus Christ and the actual day of Christmas. Instead of being roped into caroling with Dazai or convincing Kunikita to take a day off, it was a holiday after all. Nakajima Atsushi was sitting on a concrete bank of a river. It might have been near the spot where he first met Dazai, his lifesaver, or maybe not. Atsushi's mind was completely elsewhere, gazing at the great water running past him with a dull look in his eyes. It was snowing, heaps of the bitter element all around Atsushi, but he didn't mind the cold. His occasional shivers said otherwise, though. He just wanted to be alone for a moment. Just a snippet of peace. He was huddled in with his knees to his chest, arms wrapped around his legs, and he didn't seem like his usual happy self. Something was bothering him, that much was obvious. Not very far away, cars zoomed by him, hoping to not slip on a fatal patch of ice. The city was still alive and buzzing, crowded with frantic last-minute shoppers, kids playing in the snow, and couples getting warm drinks together. On the riverbank that was slanted downwards, away from everyone, Atsushi looked like he could really use a hug. And perhaps it was a miracle of Christmas when a certain mafioso with dark hair and grey eyes strolled past the ravine Atsushi was taking refuge in. It was, of course, Akutagawa Ranosuke. If you ever ask Akutagawa about his relationship with Atsushi, he probably wouldn't answer you with anything besides a glare colder than December itself. Their relationship was complicated to understate it. When Akutagawa saw the were-tiger, hunched over and looking pathetically despondent, he stilled. He was just going to ignore the Jinko, right? What were the chances that it even was Jinko? The person's face was towards the river. Plenty of people wore overly long belts, black suspenders, and had silverish white hair. Akutagawa sighed. He wasn't fooling himself. Why does that stupid Jinko not even have a coat? Akutagawa wondered in his head, his own iconic jacket on his shoulders keeping him warm. Atsushi's heterochromatic purple and gold eyes were looking at something Akutagawa couldn't see. Though, he was in the... Hang on, let me just... Okay, there we go. Atsushi's heterochromatic purple and gold eyes were looking at something Akutagawa couldn't see, though he was in the direction of the water and he couldn't see what he was focused on. Akutagawa debated poking the Jinko out of his trance with Rashomon, but decided for a gentler approach. which was a ridiculous notion, really. Him being voluntarily nice to Junko? That's absurd and true. The mafioso instead calmly tapped Atsushi on the shoulder. Junko, what are you doing here? Atsushi let out a squeak of surprise, being pulled out of his thoughts. Akutagawa, what are you doing here? Akutagawa rolled his eyes and sat next to Atsushi. I saw you and you looked uneasy. I just wondered what was going on. Akutagawa answered, his posture rigid while Atsushi's was slack. Oh, it's nothing really, Akutagawa. I'm just here to think. Atsushi mumbled, not looking to the other in the eye. He fidgeted with his fingers, and it seemed like something was weighing down on him. You're by yourself on Christmas with no coat or jacket. To think? You don't even have a scarf on. Akutagawa huffed. It's not like he was worried about the were-tiger. If anything, he wanted Atsushi to get hypothermia. Totally. Well, I randomly came out here. I don't know. I just wanted to clear my head, okay? Atsushi shot back, his teeth chattering slightly. Junko, are you going to tell me the reason why you're out here or not? Out of all the people Atsushi has met so far, Dazai, Kyoka, Tanizaki, Kunikita, Kenji, Yoshino, Fukuzawa, Rampo, Lucy, Sigma, Wells, and even more, no one really knew him like Akutagawa. Something about Akutagawa made Atsushi trust him. Akutagawa wouldn't ridicule his past, but judge him if Atsushi let his memories affect him greatly after all this time. Perhaps Akutagawa understood him on a different level, unlike anyone else, and it may have been like it was the other way, like that the other way around. Something's lately been bothering me. Atsushi admitted quietly, glad for the company Akutagawa was providing. Maybe he didn't want to be alone after all. Is it so bad you had to hide and wallow in misery? Dryly commented Akutagawa. But underlying in his tone, Akutagawa sounded concerned. Maybe that was Atsushi's own hope growing too big, though. Akutagawa, when I was 12, I was still living in the orphanage, of course. And on Christmas that year, I don't know exactly what happened, but I got locked out somehow. I went outside the orphanage just to go into town to see all the strung up lights and snow, probably, and when I got back, the doors were locked. Someone must have locked them. Maybe one of the other kids? No one liked me back then. I was stuck outside. No one came to help. I spent the night in the snow, and the next morning when the headmaster found me, Atsushi's breath was coming in small puffs of visible air, and he looked like he was trying to curl in on himself. I was punished for going out past curfew, and no one believed me when I said I was locked out. They called me a liar and delusional. It was horrible. This is my first Christmas with the agency away from all of that, and it's just weird, you know? I'm expecting something bad, but nothing's going to happen. Yep, I can't shake that fear that I'm doing something wrong. It's like my headmaster is still here sometimes. Everything just feels so cold. Atsushi fell silent. Akutagawa didn't say anything for a few minutes. He noticed the alarming amount of times Atsushi used the words "no one" when recounting the night. He let Atsushi take a breath and calm down. Then, before uttering a word, Akutagawa slipped off his coat, as inky black as ever, and put it on Atsushi's shoulders. The were-tiger looked up at him questioningly. You looked cold, Akutagawa said. I don't need it, so... Atsushi smiled, his cheeks pink from biting frost, or maybe something else. Thank you, Akutagawa. Akutagawa blushed and quickly turned his view back to the river. It's nothing, Junko. And thank you for listening to me. I know you have better things to do, and I'm just here being a burden, Atsushi continued. You're the first person I've told about that Christmas. It's pathetic how I can't let go of it still. Junko, you must really stop belittling yourself. It's annoying. Your headmaster's dead, he can't hurt you. And everyone else back at that damn orphanage is currently living a much worse life than yours. They might all be dead even. I know that. Just that doesn't make it easy to move on. The memories just keep coming back and they're taunting me and Jinko. Atsushi looked up at Akutagawa, and Akutagawa saw now that his eyes were red rimmed. Was he crying before I found him? When I was still living in the slums, we had to fend for ourselves. It was common for kids to die, and I was the only one pushing against the odds. I was the only ability user after all. I don't remember how old I was, but one Christmas, do you know what happened? I woke up to find 4 kids dead. Frostbite and poor health had killed them. There wasn't anything I could do besides bury them. Do I look like I still mourn their deaths, or any other of my dead friends? No, Jinko, I moved on because you have to move on. You don't have to. You didn't deserve what happened to you in that hellish orphanage, but you do deserve a chance to let it all go. Akutagawa, I'm sorry they died. There's no fixing it. I know. I'm sorry that you have to put up with my gripping. I'm just trying to unlearn everything the orphanage taught me. Atsushi whispered half to himself. I don't mind you talking about your problems. I understand them. It just seems like it's mostly up to me to get it through your thick skull that you're better than anyone at the orphanage ever told you were. Akutagawa ended up saying in turn, looking Atsushi in the eyes. Thank you, Akutagawa. Again. Atsushi's tone sounded a lot more light than it did earlier. It feels great to talk to someone about this. Oh, and Merry Christmas. Akutagawa sat up, signaling the end of their conversation, dusting the snow off his arms. Merry Christmas, Jinko. I'm sorry I have somewhere else I have to be. I'll have to get going. Akutagawa confessed, but the look in his Stormy's eyes said that he would rather stay here with Jinko than attend what was going on. Atsushi's smile fell a notch. When Akutagawa started to walk away, he realized he was still wearing the oldest coat. Akutagawa, what about your jacket? You can keep it for now, just return to me next time we meet, the other said nonchalantly, and Atsushi would be damned if those words didn't make him blush. He's letting me borrow his coat, but doesn't he need it? Well, I guess he could use a Shomon on with his shirt or something. Atsushi hesitated, looking at the cuffs of the jacket. When he tilted his head back up, Akutagawa was gone. Atsushi gave a sad smile. This coat smells just like him. He smells really nice. It's calming. Atsushi was walking back to his shared apartment where he knew Kyoko would probably want to binge Christmas classics on their day off. He had slipped his arms into the coat and it was undeniably cozy. I'm stealing this coat from him one of these days. Akutagawa stuck his reddening hands into Rishomon's pockets to warm them up. Even if the coat wasn't actually Rishomon, Atsushi still liked to call it that. Okay, English. With the fact that his fingerless gloves weren't exactly toasty. Atsushi was surprised to feel something in the right pocket. It was hard with sharp edges. Is there a box in here? Slipping into a nearby alleyway as to not block foot traffic on the sidewalk, Atsushi dug whatever it was in Akutagawa's pocket out. It was a very simple white box it was tied in a silk red ribbon, and taped on it was a note. On the note was the neatest handwriting Atsushi had ever seen, and he had seen Kunikita's handwriting too. What the note said was easily discernible. To Jinko, from Akutagawa. Merry Christmas. Atsushi immediately flushed, face turning a remarkable shade of scarlet maroon. Was he going to give me the gift? He got me a gift. Why didn't he just give it to me earlier? Oh my god, that's why he gave me his coat, so he could avoid actually giving it to me like a normal person. Instead, he waits for me to find it. I can't even with this guy. Atsushi looked at the note again. The paper was crisp and the ink was pitch black. Something about the idea of Akutagawa thinking about him and going out of his way to get him a gift sent butterflies scurrying inside of Atsushi's stomach. His cheeks became a darker vermilion. What if this is for a different Atsushi? What if this is for a different Atsushi? That's a common name. Atsushi conversed with himself, trying not to get his hopes up. Or maybe Akutagawa just liked him. What? No way. Akutagawa liking someone and that's someone being me? A were tiger could dream. Atsushi leaned against a brick wall of the alley and tentatively opened the box. A ring was inside, a singular ring nestled in lining that Atsushi didn't recognize, but assumed all jewelry came like this. The ring itself was beautiful. It caught the light and it was silver. It shone like it was recently polished, and it was embedded with emeralds and amethysts. This ring must have cost a fortune. Atsushi stared at the gift in amazement. Akutagawa had gotten this for him? Atsushi's soft smile grew wider as he realized that the metal on the ring poked up slightly in two areas. The gems rooted in the ring were right below the bumps of metal serving, and just maybe as eyes with metallic ears. It was like a face of a cat, or more accurately, a tiger. Atsushi put the ring on, just above the rim of his ring finger's gloves. He decided on one course of action to thank Akutagawa. I have to give him a gift. It's only fair. Then again, I don't think I'll be able to afford something like this ring. Plus, it was Christmas Day. Trying to shop now would be insane or fruitless. Then, Atsushi sparked an idea. This can't go wrong, right? Atsushi turned away from the route home and settled in the nearest convenience store. You, Dazai-san, I promise to do all your paperwork for the next month if you tell me Akutagawa's address. Atsushi quickly typed out to the text to his mentor, not even reading it before he hit send. He hoped Akutagawa wasn't home when he was going to enact his surprise. The plan was simple. Atsushi had bought figs from a nearby store and also a blank Christmas greeting card and a pen. What was he going to write the message in? Blood? He scowled at most likely Merry Christmas, Akutagawa, Atsushi, and deemed it worthy. He was so wrapped up in giving Akutagawa a gift that the memories of the orphanage went to the back of his mind. His phone pinged and he saw Dazai's reply. Dazai had readily given out Akutagawa's address, and of course, Akutagawa lived in a super duper fancy penthouse complex. Atsushi rolled his eyes. He walked over to Akutagawa's apartment, perfectly warm due to a certain someone's coat, and tried to calm down all the nerves that were jumbling up in his throat. Dazai had also mentioned that the complex Akutagawa resided in was run by the Port Mafia. Almost all the tenants there were involved with the Mafia. Atsushi gulped. Could he really just waltz in there? He could say he was Akutagawa's friend. The security guards would believe him if he said that, right? He finally found the correct building, a massive apartment building with a literal fountain in the front. And over half of the building looked like it was made out of glass or magic. Atsushi slipped through the revolving doors and trying to take a deep breath. He went past the doorman and the lobbyist. Are they actually letting me in? Maybe they thought he was Akutagawa. He was donning the dark-haired man's iconic coat after all. Do these places hire people that dumb? He not so casually strolled into the elevator and pressed a button on the 7th floor. The floor Dazai claimed Akutagawa lived on. Room 1315, room 1315, room 1315. Atsushi repeated the number in his head like a mantra. Imagine leaving a gift at the wrong door. He would die of embarrassment, and he was already trying not to die of embarrassment right now. The elevator dinged, and Atsushi practically jumped out of his skin. He was basically infiltrating a port mafia base. He had an excuse to be jittery. The doors slid open to reveal a very clean hallway, and there were less than 10 doors in total, and on them were metal plaques embroidered with numbers. Atsushi went along the hall, searching for room 1315. His heart thumped in his chest, but he did find the right door in the end. He gently set the collection of figs on the doormat, carefully making sure the card was securely in the plastic bag carrying the fruit. He let out a sigh of relief. Thank goodness Akutagawa isn't home. He might have heard me settling something at the front of his door. Atsushi hastily turned on his tail and went back to the elevator, wanting nothing more than to escape the confines of the well-cleaned Port Mafia apartments. Atsushi shivered as he exited the lobby, the cold hitting him like truck coon as he left the warmth of the mafia run heater in the complex. It's snowing even more than before, the detective noted. Maybe I should ask Akutagawa if he wants to throw snowballs in the park with me later? Atsushi had to stifle a laugh at the thought of the stoic and sour Akutagawa getting hit in the face by a snowball. Kyoka-chan, I'm home, Atsushi said before shutting the door to their shared house. Kyoka was currently in the kitchen making popcorn. The girl's blue gaze went from Atsushi's face to what he was wearing. She went over to him, pinching the black cloth at his ribs. Is this Akutagawa's coat? She looked really wary, like Rashomon itself might spring out of the jacket. Yeah, I ran into him and he said I looked cold, so he lent it to me. I'm going to return it to him on our next mission together. Atsushi's face heated up again just at the words. Akutagawa willingly gave you his coat. Kyoka reared back, eyes wide. She had the smallest smile on her lips. He must really like you. It's not like that, Kyoka-chan. Atsushi wished it was like that. Maybe it could, in time. Kyoka shook her head. Akutagawa changed a lot since he met you. She could never forget the abuse Akutagawa dealt to her, but she could forgive. That's what being in the light was about, forgiving, helping, and saving. Not that much, Akutagawa protested. He knew it was a lie. I'm going to wash up. You picked the movie we should watch. Atsushi headed towards the bathroom and turned on the faucet. As I said, Die Hard was a good Christmas film. How about that one? Kyoka called out from the living room, sifting through the CDs that she had rented from a nearby video store. Atsushi hadn't seen Die Hard, any of them, but he knew it was a violent movie. What was going on in Dazai's head? How about Frozen instead? You can never go wrong with a Disney movie. After washing his face and hands, Atsushi took Akutagawa's coat off and putting it next to his futon in the closet, slipping the ring off and putting it safely under his pillow. After much debate, they decided on watching Jim Carney's The Grinch. The next time he saw Akutagawa was a week after Christmas, due to the fact that they were assigned a joint mission. I loved the peace treaty between us and the Port Mafia. Atsushi thought to himself idly as he waited for Akutagawa to arrive at the mission's meeting point. The weretiger had arrived early, and a certain piece of clothing folded in his hands. Jinko. A chill went down the white-haired boy's spine as he heard his enemy, his partner, and maybe, just maybe, his crush call out to him. Atsushi turned around, the biggest grin in the world plastered on his face. What are you smiling about? Akutagawa went up to him. Atsushi's heart skipped a beat with the close proximity, and little did he know, so did Akutagawa's. Taking his coat back, he muttered a small "thank you." Oh, nothing, Atsushi said, his smile still as wide as ever. Come on, let's start the mission. You better not mess this up, Jinko. I promise. The pair walked away from the vendors for the meeting point. I'm just going to call it the meeting point because I cannot English. Bickering slightly, but the conversation was endearing, if anything. Part of Atsushi's particularly happy mood that day was because of the little secret he had. Akutagawa didn't know it, but on the string around Atsushi's neck, the ring he had gifted to Atsushi was hanging there, right next to his heart. Okay, everyone, that was The Ring Reminds Me of You by MikayuuMouse. I really enjoyed this fic. It's really, really fluffy, and please just, I'll leave the fic in the description below. Please just check it out because it's a really good fic. Leave kudos, leave comments, and it's absolutely amazing. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to take care of yourself, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!